Hello everyone, my name is Emilio FinalHB, and I'm here today to share some biohacks for you. I want to thank Jared Maidenberg, who invited me to come speak at you guys' lifestyle workshop. You guys are in for a treat. There's a lot to be said about being in a state of ketosis, so I hope you guys learn a lot of information there. Jared's a good friend of mine. We go way back, and we're kind of on the same level in terms of biohacking, human optimization, and just basically trying to be better. I mean, let's face it, that's why you guys are here. You guys want to be better. That's why I do biohacking. I mean, I want to be a better brother, a better husband, a better son, a better professional, just better all around. And so today I'm going to share some biohacks with you. I'm going to give you 5. They're going to concentrate on energy, focus, productivity, sleep, and increased awareness. Now that's a lot to handle, so be ready, jot down some notes, be engaged so that you can kind of get this learning and so that you can apply it to your lifestyle. Now before I go into that, people might not know what biohacking is, so I'll kind of explain it in a nutshell. Biohacking is changing the environment inside your body and outside your body so that you have more control over your biology. In a sense, you're kind of understanding your programming, your mind, body, spirit. We're all different, so once you get to understand that a little bit better, you're able to kind of hack it to perform more efficiently and more effectively at everything you do in life. I mean, for me, it's like sign me up, right? Well, today I'll share some hacks with you. I started doing this for about 3.5 years of biohacking. I've been healthy and fit for about 10 years, biohacking for about 3.5. And I'd say since October, coming back from a biohacking conference, really lit a fire inside of me and have been doing some great work. And so I'm just going to give you a little introduction as to what that is. And if you'd like to contact me later on, you can. Jared has some information about myself. Just a little background about myself. I do independent consulting for oil and gas companies, help them make their businesses run more efficiently. But today, I'm going to be telling you how to run more efficiently. Before I go into the 5 hacks, I want to just introduce how the brain works. I recently came back from getting a business certification in neuro leadership. It's this new thing about Academy of Brain-Based Leadership, giving them a brain assessment, and then figuring out their weaknesses, and then working and coaching with them to kind of increase those weaknesses and be able to perform better for their employees, themselves, and the company. Based on that information, this is how I want to introduce this piece for you guys. The brain, there's a model called 1-2-4. I'm going to give a high-level, quick overview of what that is. I won't cover the 4 piece, but I'll give you the 1 and 2. 1 is that our brains are constantly looking for threats. I don't know if you knew this or not, but it is, and it stems back to our ancestors, the cavemen. They were always outside on high alert, hunting their food. They could be coming across different types of animals, Mother Nature, what have you. If there was something in the bush, they weren't going to go and say, oh, there's a nice little rabbit or something, right? I mean, they were high alert for themselves, for their family, always watching. Their brain was taking care of them. Now, that's a good and bad thing. Good because you're aware of some things and you're trying to protect yourself, making sure you're safe. However, if you let those threats constantly get inside of you, it can trigger what's called a fight or flight response. And without going into detail, that's basically putting your body and mind in a negative downward spiral. Now that's the 1. The takeaway, our minds are always looking for threats. Now I will say it's not so much physical threats now, it's more social threats. I do want to let you know that actually if you're getting hooked up on your brain, a social threat and a physical threat light up in the same spot. And essentially they're taking the same resources out of your body, and it's the reason why you're fatigued, stressed, and depressed, whatever it is, any kind of negative symptoms, they source from this place. So understand that. 2, the 1-2-4 model. We have different states of consciousness. 1 being the conscious mind, and 2, the non-conscious. A quick statistic is that your brain processes 11 million bits of information per second. Now guess how much your conscious mind processes out of that 11 million? 40. Not 40%, just 40. So out of the 11 million, 40 is the conscious mind, and the rest is your non-conscious. The main takeaway here is that the power of your non-conscious is powerful. And we need to be able to understand that and be able to do meditation or sleep, making sure we're getting good rest so that gets the process in your body and mind so that we can reset and be our better selves the next day. Now also, a lot of people try to do things consciously, like, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that. We're running around in America trying to create things, do things, be better employees. We got to be careful there. There's a lot to be said about our non-conscious, about our creativity and things like that we don't necessarily encounter because we're too much on our conscious mind. When we overabuse that, that's when we're stressed, depressed, etc. because our brains can only hold 40 bits of information per second. So think about that. Our brain is always looking for threats. We seek safety. I'd like to introduce a safety model. neuroscientists have come up with this model, and it basically talks about safety. And if you look at each letter, S is for security, A is for autonomy, F is for fairness, E is for esteem, and T is for trust. And Y is you. It's the most powerful one. It's your epigenetics, where you're coming from, how, who you hung around with, how you learn, what you bring to the table. Now, the letters above that, the S all the way to the T, anytime that those are compromised in any way, that is going to trigger a fight or flight response. And like I told you previously, let's just say negative downward spiral. I can go into more details in next sessions about the fight or flight response, what it's actually doing in your mind and body, but for now, we'll keep it simple. Now, with that said, you kind of understand how the brain works, how the mind works. So now it's good to understand that. So when you do these hacks, you're aware of them and you can be more proactive so you don't get into your fight or flight response. So with that said, let's talk about energy. Energy is important. A lot of great leaders have energy. Actually, they don't necessarily have energy. They know how to generate energy. They're power plants. How to be able to access that is very important. Now, you're at a ketosis conference here. You're going to get a lot of energy there. And it's a lot of natural energy. And it's actually amazing stuff what that does. But I'll let Jared and everyone there talk about that. I wanted to provide a new energy technique that you can just do from your breath, and kind of a funny one. I did this yesterday when we were at the Austin conference. And in the spirit of keeping Austin weird, we had everyone do this. So I'm going to give you an introduction. I might look a little ridiculous, but that's fine. So what it is, a lot of CEOs do this, no joke. And it's inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose, forcefully and fast. And on the exhale, you're going to clap. So this is going to look ridiculous, but I'm going to show you because it works, and CEOs do this, and it's kind of an energy enhancing technique. So here it goes. I believe it's also called lion's breath, but what it's doing into the body and mind is actually very powerful. And it's something that can reset and keep you going. So try it out, research it. I'm telling you, it's the truth. Second thing, focus. Focus is important, especially because we're all over the place these days. We're always on our phones. We got a lot of stuff to do. Well, we need to start to focus, right? Well, we talked about the brain. What's important to note is that we need to abide by the way that our brain works. And I'll tell you something. If you didn't know this, your brain will wander every 50 minutes, whether you realize it or whether you like it or not. Now, if you think about this, if you're working and you got a deadline to meet and you got 3 hours and you're going and going and going and going, just know that after 50 minutes, your mind will wander and you're not going to be your 100% self. You won't be mindful. You won't be present, whether it's a 3-hour deadline or just in a meeting or just throughout the day. What I recommend is after 50 minutes, maybe just an hour, you can say every hour, take a break. Doesn't have to be long. It could be 30 seconds. It could be a minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Whatever it is, stop, forget what you're doing, jump down and do some push-ups, some air squats. Do the breathing technique I taught you. Go outside, take a breath of fresh air. If you're at your house, maybe run around the block. But take that break because it allows you to reset, and as soon as you come back, you're able to perform efficiently and effectively and be more focused. And if you do this throughout the day, you'll be like this rather than like this. Third thing, sleep. Sleep is very important. There's a lot to be said about sleep. I can talk for hours and hours and hours about hacks for sleep. One thing to know is that we're all different, but I'll say 2 things that you can do. Speaking of breathing techniques, when I'm stressed during the day for focus and for sleep, when I'm kind of winding down, I'll do a different kind of breathing technique. Not necessarily so forceful, but more slow. And this is for a relaxation response. So here it is. Write this down. It's 5, 2, 8. Okay, 5, 2, 8. It's 5 on the inhale, 2 on the hold, and 8 on the exhale. And you want to focus on the 8 because that's where the relaxation response is. So in, hold your breath, 8 seconds, all the way out. And if you do that now, you'll actually start to feel a little bit more relaxed. I do that 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and then I'm kind of set. Also, this helps with mindfulness, and that's a whole nother topic, but that can help as well. I'll throw one at you, another one for sleep because it's very important. A lot of light that you have on your phone and your computer emits also a blue light. And this is also responsible for decreasing your melatonin levels. And if you know, melatonin you need for good quality sleep. Now, there's ZenTech protectors on your phone that you can put on there like a screen protector. You can find that on bulletproof.com. Or there's like apps out there, free apps, that you can have on either your Android or iPhone, computer or cell phone. And it's called Twilight. And what this does is basically, based on your circadian rhythms and where you are, when the sun goes down, that blue light is turned off, right? And then it's turned back on when the sun rises. That's how we're supposed to function. When the sun goes down, we're supposed to be winding down. That's how our bodies are built. However, we're still working all the time. People are playing Candy Crush while they're going to bed and watching TVs to make them fall asleep, etc. Know that 2 hours before you go to sleep, if you're watching something, you are not having good quality sleep. So think about that. However, some of my coaching that I do, I try to do practical, sustainable things for the rest of your life. So if you're going to do that and you know you're going to do that, get the protector on your phone, download the app so that when you're on it, you're not getting that blue light and you'll be able to have more quality sleep. Fourth thing is going to be productivity. Now, if you're having energy throughout the day and being focused and getting a lot done and sleeping well, I mean, you're already going to be productive, right? But I will say one thing. If you don't have a routine, a morning routine, a night routine, a midday routine, how Lewis Howes says it in his School of Greatness. Love Lewis Howes. If you haven't heard from him, check him out. But he talks about the perfect day itinerary. What does a perfect day look like for you? Think about that. Write some stuff down. That's more at a macro level or a micro level. I would put an hour to hour what you're going to be doing when you wake up. Now, hopefully, it's at a mind, body, spirit level. I can provide some suggestions at a later session. You can contact me later, and we can talk through that. But I do recommend doing a morning routine, most especially. I will say it's probably the most important things that you'll do for yourself. One, because you set the tone for the day. Two, because you're taking care of yourself. And if you take care of yourself, that will translate into your business. That will translate into your relationships. So take care of yourself in the morning. Wake up 3 hours, 2 hours, at least 1 hour before you wake up, and do you. That's when you're growing. When everyone's asleep, that's when you grow. And if you do it consistently, you're going to have a better lifestyle. And last but not least, awareness or consciousness. Kind of interchangeable terms, but we need to increase our awareness. One thing I will say is that awareness creates decision. Think about that for a second. Awareness creates decision. We make decisions on a day-to-day basis and important to make the right ones. There's a lot to be said here. These are hours and hours and hours of conversation, but I will say that meditation does increase awareness. Now, because I'm a biohacker, I want to hack meditation as well. When I was at the biohacking conference, I learned about a thing called HoloSync. It was created by the founder and CEO, Bill Harris, wonderful guy. He's a part of the Centerpoint Research Institute. You can Google HoloSync, see what it's about. But I will tell you this. 1 hour of HoloSync meditation is equivalent to 7 to 8 hours of traditional meditation. One thing to be said about meditation is that there's a lot out there, and they're all great. But what they're doing is whatever you end up doing, you're getting into different brainwave states. What's good about HoloSync is that it's music, it's binaural beats, sounds, and vibrations that are putting yourself into different brainwave states, the alpha, the theta, the delta. We won't talk about those now, but they're important. They're about creativity, they're about super learning, etc., and dreamless sleep. I mean, whoever thought, right? Hear music, change your brain. This is important. You listen to it. Whatever happens is okay, and you go through that. This will increase your levels of awareness. You will see it'll change your life. That's it for today, guys. I hope you took something out of this. Again, my name is Emilio FinalHB. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great day, guys. Until next time.